welcome to the Circle of Harmony. And before we begin, let's take a few minutes, few moments at least, to in-gather ourselves, to be fully present. We can use the help of this chant. When we can use this chant, we can use our breath to center ourselves, to still ourselves, to invoke grace and its presence for ourselves and others. For the, yeah, just doing that for a few minutes. Yes, so thank you for joining in. I did receive a few messages that people are occupied today, so it'll be less of us. So, yeah, let's see how long the session goes. So, like I had said, we don't have a topic this week. Sometimes it's just good to leave it open ended and see if there's something one wants to discuss, share, question, reflect on. So, yes, so before this we have begun. So, if anybody wants to go, hello, Dia, hi, Jagan. So, yeah,
Hi Taru. Hi everyone. Good to see you all.
yeah. So, hi, Aditi. Hi. Yeah. So, Sham, can I start with you? Did you like, obviously, no pressure, but since you were the first one to join in, anything that you thought you would want to share with us today?
Yeah, Taru, nothing much. But recently I had been introduced to some elements of that Sufi school of thought. And so what I have learned is that there are the four principles that I have tried to imbibe in my own life. The first one that I have developed in is called Rita, or resignation, means resignation to the will of Almighty. The second one is called Tawakkul, means trust in Almighty, that one needs to repose faith in Almighty for even the very mundane and the basic things. And the third one is sabr or patience. The fourth one is the mohaba or mohabbat or whatever you call it, love too. And since I have tried to imbibe it, but I have not been able to imbibe it entirely or in a manner in which I would have liked to imbibe. But
Can just repeat it again? This is from the Sufi school, and they are saying four things, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So the first one being,
The first one is Rida or resignation to the will of Almighty. And in Urdu, it is called Rita, R-I-T-A.
RITA. Okay. Yeah.
Rita नहीं Rita. T के जगह D. D for dog.
Rida. So sorry. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And then Sabru?
No, somebody of patience that to for good things or for even to get or for even to develop that consciousness, you need to be patient.
Yes.
The
And then
third thing is tawakkul, means trust in Almighty.
trust.
Uh,
So, how's Rida different than trust?
yeah, trust that the good will happen, okay,
Okay.
or trust in the prowess of Almighty.
Okay. So, will of God and then trust in God. Resignation to the will and trust,
Mm.
patience, love. So, what did you resonate with? I mean, of course, these are very, beautiful, basic things to live by. So, but they called out to you. So, if you could share a bit on that.
Yeah, Taru, I applied these principles in my life, and suddenly I found a tremendous amount of peace in me, peace and tranquility, which I don't usually find.
Okay.
And then it did stir my soul to some extent, and
Yeah. So, Jam, give me something more, right? Like, say, let's talk about resignation to the will of God, right? How were you able to apply it? What called out to you?
yeah, Taru, actually, if we want to micromanage all the smaller things and all the bits and parts of our life, our day-to-day professional life, or maybe the usual day-to-day life, we can't manage. Okay. So somewhere down the lane, we need to resign to the will of the God at the last. So there it appealed to me.
Okay, I'll just stop you here for a second.
Uh,
You said that we'll have to resign to the will of God at last, right? In the last, right? That's what we do. First, we struggle, strive, try to do things our way, and then when nothing is happening, right? Then we resign to the will of God. Yes?
yeah, certainly.
Yes, but how about doing it as the first thing?
Yeah, we don't normally tend to do it as the first thing.
Yeah,
We do it at a latter stage only.
so if you could think about it right now or feel it and tell me how do you think things would change if, rather than being the last thing or the later stages, if this is what I stand on, do you
Yeah,
think it's a possibility?
at a very personal level, we all try at all the options available, and then at a last only we resign to the will of Almighty, saying that Thy will be done, and Thou knowest better.
So, matlab, first I believe that I can do better or I don't need to bother God. Then when nothing happens in such situations, I say, अच्छा अब help ले ही लेते हैं. मतलब that's the way, right?
Yeah, certainly we all go by the same modus operandi. The
Yeah,
standard operating procedure है, हम सब वही करते हैं.
yeah. मतलब अभी तक वही करा है, but जरूरी नहीं है कि
हाँ,
आगे भी वही
आगे भी करा जाए.
Yeah, yeah. So
Certainly.
basically habits, habits, patterns and all, they are formed by say atavism and, जैसे एक conditioning हो रही है कि everybody is doing that and we are doing that because everybody is doing or we are conditioned to do that way or it's like in my genes, in my culture. But because we all have this individual wisdom, right? What is working for me, what is not working for me, this makes more sense to me, this calls out to my heart more, this makes my life easier. So it would be so beautiful if we can see what's working, what's not, what I want to believe in and change, right? Because we say this is natural. And yet I am above nature, right? I am, how it's said in the Upanishads that you are Atman, you should rule nature, but nature is ruling you. So it's so, yeah, I mean, I have the capacity for sure to make the will as the first step, not the last. And if the more and more I do it, like, of course, it's tough. And yet, if I want to do it, if I will to do it, that, it will be done. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but it can come only through continuous practice. It is not a what you call one day kind of thing.
Sham, जैसे, we talk about Zid, What is Zid? Do you understand Zid, the Hindi word?
This one.
Stubbornness,
Yeah, stubbornness kind of.
है
Yeah.
ना? नहीं, stubbornness ही हुई. Zid, stubborn head, मतलब strong headed, stubbornness. So जैसे we are stubborn for certain things, right? मैं उठ के सबसे पहले यही करता हूँ, or I don't do this without this, or food में I eat this only, I eat it at this time, for example. So sometimes, we have to say that, okay, things go slow and steady, and they do. And yet, if we are seeing something like that's making absolute sense, or that I feel will be good for me, at times one can also be stubborn with oneself कि नहीं मुझे तो यही करना है. Just sharing just out of joy and love, that at times when I see that, okay, this is where I'm slipping, or this is where my ego is coming in, one can lay down its foot against oneself and say nahi mujhe to, like, every time I see, I catch myself thinking this way, I have to stop myself right there and say no, enough. So that too is an approach which we can use, for things which call out to us a lot, right? There are some things which, like, you shared these 4 things, right, which you resonated with. So I would also like to tell you, just share from my own experience that for some things we have to, actively make space in our lives that no, मुझे तो ये करना है. Yeah. Yeah, tell me more. So, will of God and then patience, you were talking last time too, right? That how there's so much more calmness in you and you don't
Yeah.
react.
Yeah, Taru, what I was saying, that things won't happen the way I plan out. Okay. Like once Sam Manekshaw also said that things don't happen one plans, but yet people make plans so as to make things happen to the nearest way they would have liked it to happen. And yet it doesn't happen the way I would like it to be, or the way somebody would like it to be. So their patience comes handy.
Yeah.
That maybe आज नहीं हुआ कल हो जाएगा, कल नहीं तो परसों, or maybe some other day.
Yeah. And trust.
Yeah, trust that Almighty is kind, Almighty is gracious. Had Almighty not been there, we wouldn't have been doing this meeting.
Yeah. And love.
Love that I see Almighty's, the pains that I have been going through all these donkey years, and the many gifts that Almighty has bestowed on me. I see both in the same light, that Almighty adores me and admires me. And it is all an endurance of the will of Almighty. For
Yeah.
example, when I go through pain, I see that what I was thinking was nothing but my ego. So pain is the hammer to break the ego, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. 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 There's this thing now that.
And then I come to know that there is somebody over the blue yonder who knows things much more than me. All these bounties and what you call the curses and all these things, they both help us to grow.
Yeah.
So had Almighty not been gracious, not been kind, it won't have come to us.
Yes, Sham, thank you. And Sham, see, another thing so beautiful that it's coming, that these 4 things are not exclusive, right? When I'm talking about will, I'm also feeling the trust. I need the trust for the will. I need the love for the will. I need the patience for the will. Same if I'm talking about patience, if I have that, okay, his will is being done. I love him. I trust him, then I can be patient. Right? Like how they're all interconnected, right? I trust because I know it's his will. I am patient. I love. So how they are, I mean, just because I need explanation, I need words, so they are given to me, and yet everything is interconnected, and it's all about just love, faith, bowing your head down. And yeah, so it's really
Yeah,
beautiful.
Taru, and something, sorry, I did cut you short.
No, I was done. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and then something else is coming to my mind, like how in Bible Moses say that Almighty resides in broken hearts. So when our ego is hurt, we feel that why me? And then from why me, suddenly the path changes to why not me? Although the change from why me to why not me is a subtle one, many a times we may not be able to witness it with that much of clarity and all that. But then suddenly it comes into your being gradually and in bits and parts, if not entirely.
Yes, Sham. And if one is living these, that
And then I come to know after a point that all these afflictions and bounties, they are all blessings of Almighty, so that I could see the greater picture and so that I could read in between the lines. Yeah, I'm done with well.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what I was saying, that first we have to ask these questions, why me? Then when we start seeing that, oh, there was a reason for this, there was a reason for that, then one realizes that, oh, good, it was me. I got this from that. And then the trust, the faith deepens and deepens. And then slowly this question of why me? If it comes, it fly away really fast, right? Because you've been through that so many times. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Sham. Yeah, so just a reminder for Aditi and Chetna who joined us late. So today, if we know there is no topic, we're just sharing some things, that we read right now, or I don't know, 30 years ago, that we resonate with, that stay with us, that give us hope, love, light, any questions, any sharings, any beauty that you would like to share with everyone today. So anybody who would want to go next? Um, so we can end the session here.
I think what Shyam was saying, Aditi here.
Yeah.
So one thing that resonated where you said the resignation, right? So for me, it was interesting because A, you think about God when you're in difficult situation, like it should be constant, but when you are naive and you don't know all those things. So I always realized whenever I was in a situation, A, there was a learning in it for me. And the moment I go or resign or be like, it is what it is, I'll make the most of it. Um, I would realize that, the things would resolve. They don't have to go the way I want, but they would resolve, right? Like I stop attaching myself to the situation and it would get better. And then I also feel what I have realized in my, uh, we want things to go a certain way, but if they don't, when you look back at them, um, they that happened for the best, right? In the bigger picture. So it's like the trust and the resignation piece so important because no matter what happens in your life, A, you have to accept it and trust that it's for the best. So something like I resonated with, like I never thought about it in those terms, but I feel um, they're very like true. And so if you do it more consciously, it's even better.
Yeah. Thank you, Aditi. Yeah. Were you saying something? Did you unmute again? Sorry.
No, I said that's it.
Yeah. You know, it's so beautiful what you said, that we kind of get less attached to it, right? Slowly, if I'm able to step back, that there must be something good, there must be something good. But you know, initially it feels like, I mean, again, sharing from my own experience, that you know, the grapes were sour, that I wanted this, I didn't get this, oh, so bad, so sad, but you know, must be something good in it, right? This is how we begin. And then when we start realizing that what I wanted and what I got or what I didn't get got me this. Slowly, when you see something, when you are wanting and not getting, it's like, oh wow, what will I get this time? You know, it kind of changes. Like then it's not that the grapes are sour. Then it's like that, oh, you know, it's an adventure. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And but
think
we
sorry. No, I think I was just adding, like, I always feel like if I'm in a like, what am I going to learn, right? Like, what's in it? Like, what is the learning part here? Um, and then you only always stop and think when, things are not going your way, right? So I feel like that's the moments in your life where God is giving you a chance to grow as individuals, right? So if you start doing it on purpose and consciously, I think what is better than that?
yeah. Yeah. Again, you know, like the how one has to keep reminding oneself that the purpose here is not comfort. It's not, you know, happiness. It's not just, I don't know, me doing well, me settling down. It's progress, it's progress, it's progress. It's me, you know, becoming the best version of me that is possible. And that's a never ending process. So if I get my goal right, not just, you know, in theory, in paper, in my intellect, but if my whole being is moving towards that, yes, I have to progress, I want to progress, may I progress, then also that helps in changing the way we see things, accept things, and you know, how it's like me being limited. I can just see, you know, between narrow lines that I can see with my torch, and yet the one who has, you know, the main whatever light, biggest, you know, the sun actually, he knows more. Gives me more than what I can imagine. So yeah, that too helps. Mhm.
I have another like very petty story to share. So, but then I think that's why I like joining because I think it put things in perspective. But um, I was taking my car out from the garage, and I don't know what I was thinking. I broke my side mirror, and it's a new car. So, I was so upset. And then I remembered in one of the sessions, it was you or Monica. And she said, right, like she said that it's okay to enjoy the thing, but don't get attached to them. Then after 2 minutes, I was like, whatever, it's a mirror, whatever, like, but it's a small, but I just feel like all these things, like they help, uh, just putting things in perspective, right? Those are just so, sorry, that was a very, I already said it was a petty story, but
You know, this is not a petty story actually. These are the things that we see every day, right? This is the thing that if we get okay with, that's how life changes, right? Like that mirror could have been on your mind for like 7 days, for example, that was
yeah,
stupid.
in the past, like I would stuck on such small things, and then it would just spoil my whole, like week. And then I think my husband is much better. He was like, dude, it's just a mirror. Like literally that was his response. But I thought about the logic which was told, and then I was like, yeah, that is right. If I'm attaching to things, and I may read whatever I'm reading, but I'm not following it, right? So that helped me really. Like literally, I was over it like 5 minutes. Earlier, it would have been easily at least 2 days, if not 7.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. I wish you can stop using the word petty. Stop
Okay,
using. Yeah.
okay, miss.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm roll number 3, so present, ma'am.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I was the third person to join. So, first of all, Aditi ji, what the story you shared is very important. You know, I'm also in this phase of learning how to be unattached. I'm also aspiring for that. And like you said, in 2 minutes, you were able to, come out of that feeling of that attachment by remembering those. Right now, it will take me like 2 3 days easily. So I'm glad that you shared, because I can see that, okay, when one is making progress, the time it takes to get unattached, kind of narrows, like it narrows down and it comes to 2 minutes. So I'm really glad you shared that story. And this week, ma'am, coming to this week, I've been listening to this song over and over again, and it's sort of very relevant to what you said last time, that now from we it changed to I. Now from I also sometimes it's we. So this song is from Tare Zameen Par, uh, and it's one of the bit that I really resonate with is this. It says, अकेला नहीं मैं, खुली आंखों से नींद में चलता, गिरता ज्यादा कम संभलता, फिर भी न कोई शक ना सुबह, निकलेगा फिर से सूरज जो डूबा, हैरत है सबको ऐसा अजूबा है मेरा जहां. And I don't know, one line I could not understand is, फिर भी न कोई शक ना सुबह. So I don't know what is shak is, I know, doubt, but why does it follow with Nasuba? But I really love this song. Uh, I find ki, I don't know, it just motivates every time I listen to it. So that's all from me.
What is the name of the song?
It's Mera Jahan from Tare Zameen Par.
Yeah, not finding the Hindi one. English के तो बहुत सारे. Yeah.
In another website it says Shakna Shiva. I don't know.
I think Shak, I think it felt it's like about complaining. Like there's no complaint now. That's what I thought it
हाँ, हाँ,
was there. Shak is doubts. Like and
yes.
I think it's complaining. Yeah.
या फिर भी ना कोई शक ना शिवा.
I think
So
maybe
you,
complaining because even though I can't see, I just keep on going
Wow.
with trust and no doubts in my mind.
या तरो इट मे बी कि वो शिकवा का एब्रिविएटेड फॉर्म होगा,
Yeah.
मुझे लग रहा है, आई मे बी
Yeah.
रॉन्ग.
Yeah, that's what I feel too. That must be that.
and then it follows with
It
निकलेगा
could
फिर
also
से
be
सूरज.
doubt, right? Like I don't have a doubt or any concern that there will be the rise of the sun again, है ना?
Yeah, yeah. I think वो rhyme नहीं हो रहा होगा ना, तो मैंने उसको कहा.
हाँ.
Yeah, that's also possible. Yeah.
And then it follows by निकलेगा फिर से सूरज जो डूबा. So it's that if I just look at that one line alone, it reminds me of some of those lines from Savitri also. Like I don't know how I'm even connecting them, but somehow, if my understanding, that's how I find it.
Yeah,
But
no, it's
yeah,
totally connected, totally, right? Like, I know that the sun will rise. I know I falter, and yet I know I'm part of the sun. So it's it gives a lot of, I don't know, Sahara, right? Lot of support, lot of certitude that yes.
and it ends the last 4 lines, 5 lines by a really small girl. I think she sings it. She sings कि बचपन के दिन चार ना आएंगे बार बार, जी ले मेरे यार, जेब खाली तो उधार, जी जिंदगी.
Yeah.
So, Bachpan, as in when I see Bachpan, I don't think there is a phase called Bachpan. I think I'm still the child of God, and I will be a kid even if I'm turning 80, if I live until 80. So I think those particular lines, they remind me to not become a grown up, to take life too seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all
Yeah.
from me. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
beautiful. Yeah, because I do want to grow up because I think growing up is very intelligent. So that's why I have to say कि यहाँ 4 ही दिन है, जल्दी कर ले, फिर तो grow up करना पड़ेगा. But the wiser thing is कि मेरे को grow up करना ही नहीं है. तो फिर 4 नहीं है, पूरे 80 साल हैं. Yeah, nice.
So I wanted to share another. I feel like the love part that Sham was saying earlier, right? So I feel and this is something I was in a line yesterday. I had like 20 things in my cart at checkout, right? And then there was this Uncle Ji piche. He had only 2 things. So then I was like, you can go ahead of me. And he was so happy. He was like, oh, she let me go. But I feel like in general, in life, if we are more present, if we are more mindful, and you give a compliment to the person, oh, your hair look nice. And so I've seen, and I don't do it because I expect anything. It's just like being in general kind and giving each other grace. I just know like people go out of their way to help you out. Or I call the same lady after like 15 minutes whom I complimented on her hair yesterday, and she was like, oh yeah, I remember you. And then like right away she helped me with whatever I needed, right? So I didn't do it because I needed help, but in general I feel like if you're happier inside and more present within, you have more love and more appreciation of what's going outside of you. And I feel when I'm all over the place, I don't give a damn like what's happening. So I think it's important. So that's something again I'm trying to practice more, and being like more present and more aware with what's happening inside, so that I can be a better person outside, I guess, like people who are receiving me, I guess. So anyway, so that was also, I felt like um it feels nice to be nice to others too, right? So anyway.
Yes, thank you. And it's like the more kinder I am to myself, the more kind I can be to so-called others, the more I honor myself, the more I can honor everybody else. So it always starts with me. So if one is able to be more loving, it's a sure sign that, one is loving oneself mostly, hopefully, too. That's really nice.
And Taru, it acts like Newton's third law. Means what you give is what you get.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like
What
Rhonda
goes
Byrne
around
totally.
comes around.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Shan.
No, please go ahead, ma'am.
Oh no, I was just saying what goes, karma too, right? Like what you throw out. Yeah, that's all.
And like Taru, Rhonda Byrne says in her book Secret, that your thoughts are your deeds. Perhaps this is the what you call substance of the entire book.
Yeah.
Magic.
So can I share something about my experience with that book? And so that's a really good book. I actually have that book and I have all underlined. So I was going through a phase in my life when my husband wasn't feeling well, and the And the main idea behind the book is you project your future, right? And you start believing as if it's happening. And I was pregnant at that time. So I just started projecting that I have a healthy husband, he's playing with my child, and it doesn't happen right away, right? Like it was a process, it was a year long. So but then that actually works. So your thoughts become your reality. So I feel like I even tell my son, like, the talk that you do to yourself, like with yourself, that's the most important, because your words, your thoughts become your reality, right? So if you're saying, oh, I'm not good at this, oh, I'm so bad at this, guess what? You will become more bad at it, because you're projecting it and your actions are kind of adding to, um, enhance it, right? Like, or make that your reality. So I feel like what you say to yourself is so important. So, and projection. That's I'll shut up. I'm sorry, Taru, I speak too much.
Oh no, that's why we are here, Aditi. So if you won't speak, then you will have to be sorry.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, Sham, would you like to complete what you were saying about the book and what you wanted to share about it?
Yeah, Taru, there are 3 books in that series. One is Secret, the other is Magic. Okay, so it tells about the thankfulness to Almighty. And the third is Power, and the fourth is Hero. So the pages of the book, as you scroll the pages and as you skim through the pages, something enchanting happens into your being. I'm sorry, but but it's the book that I have loved the most, and it's a treasure. Okay,
Yeah,
it's no ordinary and menial thing.
yeah.
It's a very big thing. Let me tell you that. And perhaps getting the book Secret was the best thing that happened to me. Maybe one of the best thing, if not the best.
Sean, would you recommend reading the other books? Like, are they good?
Yeah,
I
the other
only read
one
The
is
Secret.
yeah, the other one is Magic by the same author, and the third one is The Power by the same author. Should you want, I will share the cover of both the 2 books, the other 3 books, and the fourth one is Hero.
Yeah, okay. I'll look it up. Thank you.
Okay. And Taru, like Aditi was saying that what we utter to ourselves, that becomes me. So there's also another person from the same Chishti school of thought. He has a short poem of four lines. So the first line says that if you aspire communion with God, if you want to, should you want, you can jot down.
Yeah, if you, I'll just look it up, Aspire.
Mm. If you aspire communion with God, be kind, magnanimous, just to your fellow human beings.
Yeah, I think you go on. I don't think I can find it online. Yeah, okay.
Praveen, hold on. बाद में बात करते हैं.
ठीक है. Is there more?
No, the first line is if you aspire communion with God. And the second line is be kind, magnanimous, just to your human beings.
Mm,
If you desire effulgence like the dawn, be generous to all like the sun.
mm.
If you want, I can type it in the chat box.
No, this is good. Yeah, but you can send it to us in the group so that we all can see it.
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. Yeah. About this book, I too want to share my experience that when I came to know of it, it was pretty amazing. But how? Because today I only know thoughts. It's telling me how to use my thoughts in the best possible way that I can think of, right? It's using my reasoning, my thinking process, and yet say if I live in a well, right, and there are different tiers in a well, and my highest inspiration, aspiration, desire could be to be at the top of the well. And yet, because I am limited, I can think of just the well. What I can think of, what I can want is this much, but what I can get is like the whole world. So just so I feel a bit, kind of, I mean, if that helping me till some point, I must use it. But knowing that thoughts is also just a tool that will take me somewhere. Like it's a door to a room which is a better room than what I was used to in. When I was using my thought for really, I don't know, petty things which were taking me down. Now I can use the same tool to go enter a room which will take me to better things. And then, yet I know that I must leave that room too. Because thoughts are limiting. They just take me to as much they can, and then one has to move. We talk about spaces, silence, stillness. You talked about the will of God, right? So in will of God, there is no my thought. The only thought is that it's his will. In patience, it's not that मुझे ये मिल जाएगा. It's really कि जो मिलेगा वो best है. In trust, it's not that, I'm trusting you to give me what I want. It's trusting that whatever you give me is for my maximum benefit. And I love not because you give me what I want, I love because all I've got from you is love and I want to pass it on. So, also simultaneously seeing the limited nature or the limited area that my thought can take me to. Because my brain is limited, my ideas are limited. And of course, I can aspire to be the best version of what I know is the best, but knowing that there is limitless, boundlessness, which I can't think of. I don't know if we would resonate with that, but yeah. There was this book that somebody had shared with me. It was very beautiful. It's a small book of Hindi. I mean, somebody has written small Hindi poems. It's called Apna Ghar. Very small poem. So, abhi, what we're discussing, there's this small thing that the title is Sadhana, and the lines are अभी मुझे और धीमे कदम रखना है, अभी तो चलने की आवाज आती है. अभी मुझे और धीरे कदम रखना है, अभी तो चलने की आवाज आती है. So again, just relating it with what was shared right now, there's still noise in me, around me, right? So here, the author is Swami Shama Sagar, Muni Shama Sagar. It's his work. So he's saying that I have to keep softer, I have to tread even more softly because I'm seeing that till now, even now, I make noise when I. So this reasoning, this desire, this thing is my noise. So yeah, it's beautiful to know that there is more that I have to aspire towards. Yeah. Yeah, anything on this?
Hi, Didi. I just wanted to share what Sham was sharing. Those particular words, they reminded me of this song by Bulle Shah. That the song is Chal Bulliya, Chal Othe Chaliye, Jithe Sare Anne, Na Koi Saadi Jaat Pachane, Na Koi Sanu Manne. So, and then it goes on to ਮੰਦਿਰ ਢਾਦੇ ਮਸਜਿਦ ਢਾਦੇ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਪਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਦਿਲ ਨਾ ਢਾਵੀ ਰੱਬ ਦਿਲਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ. So yeah, it's kind of my favorite. And it also then goes on to one of the couplets in it is ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਾਫਿਰ ਕਾਫਿਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਆਹੋ ਆਹੋ ਆਖ. And it resonates so much. Also, it reminds me also so much of Meera and the life of Meera and how people, misunderstood her, but she, uh, she was always in obedience of the divine will. And yeah, I mean, Meera to me seems like a Sufi saint, and his words also remind me of the same. Yeah, like especially the first couplet which says that चल बुलिया चल उथे चलिए जिथे सारे अन्ने ना कोई साडी जात पछाने ना कोई सानू मन्ने. It speaks so much of equanimity, because either of those, like when somebody doesn't like you or puts you down, like in a society if you're considered lower caste, that is also hurting. But if somebody, they say it's lonely at the top, like if somebody puts you on a pedestal, that is also very lonely, and that is also as much limiting, because then you try to, I mean, that pedestal itself becomes like a cage, because then you want to protect that and you want to live up to that, and you don't realize when your freedom is gone and you've become a slave to the pedestal. So his wordings really, yeah, they remind me of equanimity. Oh, that's it. I loved listening to you. I mean, I'm really not much in a phase where I'm able to share in my life right now. I'm more like in a listening kind of phase right now, where I just love listening and absorbing from you guys. And especially, I just want to thank the group, each and every person, because you share so honestly and genuinely that it helps me a lot to listen, coming from that genuine space. Yeah. So,
Thank you, Jaden. So just to go over this, like what she was sharing, Anne here is blind, right? So nobody recognizes my caste, nobody respects me, nobody knows who I am. So let's go where everybody is blind. And I think one thing that stood out for me when I heard it for the, I don't know, whatever time was that I keep hoping, right? I keep wishing that may there would be no judgments, may there is no division. And yet, divisions and judgments will remain till they are within me. So somewhere when I keep aspiring कि और कोई मुझे judge ना करे, कोई किसी को judge ना करे, so it again begins with me. When I stop judging myself, first of all, अगर मेरी आंखें और मैं ही हर चीज को with full microscope, I am visualizing that even if I go in a world where nobody else does it, my world would remain the same. So if I want to aspire, if I'm hoping, dreaming of a world where there's no division, no judgments, I have to stop judging myself, replacing judgment with love, acceptance, aspiration. So that I think is very important not to forget. And how, it's like when you share, right? When you said, okay, let's go to a world where nobody judges, nobody knows who anybody is, and everybody's just living in love. How our heart says, yes, yes. And yet, in our everyday, that's not what we are reflecting. That's not what we are becoming. So how will that happen, right? So if there's something in me which feels that, yes, this sounds beautiful. So I owe it to myself and, more than anybody to myself to become that at least I am one drop less in poison and the potency of the poison does decrease. So it's a very, very, very beautiful song by Bulle Shah. There's this online, on YouTube also somebody had sung it. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, Taru, Sonam Kalra had sung it, and it's very nice.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, that is my favorite.
Yeah. I
Also, thank you, Taru, for sharing that explanation because really I had not thought of it like that. Yeah, that it's maybe a projection of how much I am judging myself.
yeah.
Yes, ma'am, that explanation of all the points that Sham has said and how you portrayed it, it was really helpful as to how I see things. And also, what Chetna ji was sharing about how she's in a point where she can only listen and not share. And she's in a point where she's listening and she's saying ki I'm not in a stage where others who are able to share. And here I am sitting and Chetna ji just letting you know that I'm at a point where I really want to stop talking and just listen. Even in other sessions I share that um, even when I'm listening to someone, my mouth is quiet, I'm not talking, but inside I have my own question answers and my own assumptions. And here I am aspiring for that day when I can just sit and listen and just not you know uh, listen. So it's interesting, it's very interesting that some people want to be where I am and I want to be where some people are. And yeah, so that's one thing. And the other one is, ma'am, one time you shared, I think last week you shared this this story of how, not a story but an example of how I am one day I'm very happy, very generous, and the other or the next minute or the next hour, I become entirely like I totally contradict my own actions. Like I behave in a very different way. And when Aditi ji was sharing about how, like I think you've said this, I don't know, thousands of times, that how being kind to myself will also help me in being kind to others. Until I listened to that example, I couldn't really understand it. Like, how being kind to myself will reflect upon others. But that's a very good,
Yeah,
yeah.
that took me a long time to get there. I feel like in Indian culture, right? Like it's always like auro ke liye karo. Oh, the woman is supposed to take care of the family, and that's the culture, right? So that's what I grew up. But then it's like if you're not happy, how can you make anyone happy? So I became a little bit selfish about my time. Like, I take time to do things I like because if I'm not happy, then guess what? No one is gonna be happy. But it took me a while.
Yeah, even my progress is also pretty long. Like you said, again, as an Indian, as how I looked at things, how कि अच्छा ये he's a waiter, he's a worker, and वो सब मैंने किया है ever since I moved to this country. So how it kind of helped me put my feet on the ground, put my foot on the ground. So so that's there. And yeah, it's really surprising that how one day I'm so happy, I'm smiling, the other day I'm just nothing, there's nothing. So I will practice on how to be kind to myself. I'm still practicing. There are times when I'm not really kind to myself, but I think yeah, there is progress in it. But I'm just really glad that what Aditi ji shared. And also yeah, I want to be like Chetna ji, who is able to listen. I also want to be able to just listen quietly. Thank you.
Gagan, you make us feel so old with your G's and ma'ams. अब आप थोड़ा सा, I know we are older to you, some of us, but you can stop making us feel more old. Yeah. You don't have to learn to be kind. You just have to stop being unkind, and kindness is there. So just that. And Aditi, a question for you. If there's a cloth which is used to clean things and it's a self-cleaning cloth, so if that self-cleaning cloth, the time it takes to clean itself, will you say the cloth is being selfish or kind the time it's taking?
Oh, it's being kind so it can do its job properly, right?
Yeah, so when you say I now am selfish at times, so
Yeah,
I can,
okay.
it's wrong, right?
Yeah, that's true. You're so smart, then. But yeah, that's very true.
Let me just once. I saw something, I can't find it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So last time we had taken up this topic of longing, and there was this quote from Khalil Gibran, which was very beautiful. I thought we could take it up today if we had time, and it seems we do. But I just need like 1 minute. So if you could read it, and I'll be back.
I can read it. Quote by Khalil Gibran. In your longing for your giant self lies your goodness, and that longing is in all of you. But in some of you, that longing is a torrent rushing with might to the sea, carrying the secrets of the hillsides and the songs of the forest. And in others, it is a flat stream that loses itself in angles and bends and lingers before it reaches the shore. But let not him who longs much say to him who longs little, wherefore are you slow and halting? For the truly good ask not the naked, where is your garment? Not the houseless, what has befallen your house? I will just read those last two sentences one more time, please. Um, but let not him who longs much say to him who longs little, wherefore are you slow and halting? For the truly good ask not the naked. For the truly good ask not the naked, where is your garment? Not the houseless, what has befallen your house? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sham. So any reflections on this? Anything that we need to elaborate? Should we go over the lines? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so here it says, in your longing for your giant self, right? There is this little me living my little life of saying I'm selfish, I'm unkind, and this is how, but this is natural. So when I start aspiring, longing for the me which is above these titles, these self criticisms, when I want to be that expanse that I am, with saying, in your longing for your giant self lies your goodness. That even if right now I'm not good, for example, but if I want to be good, if I long to be good, if I long to be the giant that I am, that is my goodness. And that longing is in all of you. So all of us want to be better. All of us see where we are slipping, where we are attached, where we are being unkind. So Khalil Gibran is telling us that this longing is my goodness, and that longing is in all of us. But in some of you, that longing is a torrent rushing with might to the sea. So, when we have seen Ganga, like rivers like Ganga, which are moving so fast as if one wants to ask, itni kya jaldi hai? But it doesn't have time to answer because it knows it has to go really fast. No answers, no questions, just going, 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 right? So for some, that longing is so intense, like a river rushing to meet the sea, carrying the secrets of the hillsides and the songs of the forest, right? With all its beauty, the secrets, the songs, it's just rushing. And in others, it is a flat stream that loses itself in angles and bends. जहाँ पे जो आया वहाँ पे रुक गई, थोड़ा सा बैठ गई, and lingers before it reaches the shore. So again, see, every one of us is moving, and merging is a certainty for all of us, and yet some of us move really fast, while others we keep finding these spots, right, which feel comfortable, which feel that okay, I can be here, and we are just lingering, which is fine. So he's just further saying that, but let not him who longs much say to him who longs little, wherefore are you slow and halting? As in, why are you slow? Why are you stopping? Halting is stopping. For the truly good, ask not the naked, where is your garment? So if you actually, I mean, of course, it's symbolic, but if you actually see a person without clothes, if there's one person standing there and asking, hey, where are your clothes? And a second person is giving him his shirt, what is better, right? Just giving. And here, the houseless. Where is your house? What made your house fall? Rather than inviting them in your house, right? So again, this is the sign of goodness, that I'm not judging. I'm not saying you are slow. And this can also be used as different parts of me, right? A part of me really wants to be there. Another part of me wants to linger, is scared, is afraid, is still, enchanted with so much. And yet, if I just stand here and question myself or criticize myself, that's not my goodness. But I can just pull it along, कि आजा आजा बहुत कर लिया, अच्छा आज कितने desires थे, क्या मिला, आजा आजा थोड़ा इधर आके भी देख ले, slow coaxing like a child, like how we do to the child, कि come, it will be fun. Can be used for others, can be used to ourselves, for ourselves, but just the first line I think is really beautiful, that we are all giants, and in my aspiration to become a giant is my goodness, and that aspiration, that longing, that yearning is in all of us. Yeah, anything on this that if anybody would want to share?
Yeah, Taru, can you please amplify on the last line
Mm-hmm.
for the truly good?
Yes, for the truly good, ask not the naked, where is your garment? So like I had said, Sham, that if I see lack in something, or if I see somebody without something, one of one person can be questioning, right? Why are you doing this? Why are you being naked? Where is your clothes, right? And the other person is giving them clothes. So either I can judge that why is somebody lacking, or I can help them have less lack, right? I can help them by giving them something, or maybe not even questioning. Even if I want to walk my way and not torment them, that also would be goodness, right? That here I say, oh, I am good, right? But see, you are bad. But how are you good if you're pointing to somebody's bad, right? So just that कि if I am standing here and saying कि अरे मैं तो बहुत अच्छा हूँ, मुझे तो सब समझ आ जाता है, मैं तो बहुत इंटेलिजेंट हूँ, उधर देखो बेवकूफ बैठे हैं, तो फिर how is that a good?
Yeah, you once reprimanded me also that I used to use Chomo every now and then,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
reprimanded me sternly that only if you stop speaking Chomo to others, will you escape your own judgment?
Yeah,
I remember that vividly.
yeah. Yes. You know, this it reminds me of one, I think I saved it somewhere, that, yeah, it was beautiful. So there's a quote from I liked it, I copied it. So it says that to the man who has realized his own nature and drinks the undiluted bliss of the self, there is nothing more exhilarating than the quietude that comes of a state of desirelessness. So I thought this was really like kind of strong, that to the man who has realized his own nature, इसको समझ आ गया है मैं कौन हूँ, and drinks the undiluted, मेरे जितने भी pleasures हैं, you know, they are diluted, they have a mixture of something. I am happy because I feel great, because today I'm happy because the weather is so good, or that person was kind of kind to me, or that person gave me a compliment. So as long as my peace, my bliss is diluted, it's temporary, it's depending on things. But to the man who drinks the undiluted bliss of the self, कि मैं अपने साथ बैठ के खुश हूँ, खाली किसी emptiness में खुश हूँ, and I'm rejoicing that bliss, there is nothing more exhilarating. You know, if I use the word exhilarating, what comes to you? Maybe we can share. What is exhilarating? Aditi, what is exhilarating?
English word.
मतलब
Like so happy, like totally like out of the body experience, something
yeah, and you know, like जैसे
yeah.
image आती है
Yeah,
कि मैं
in
I'm
a
in a,
state of ecstasy.
yes,
In a state
it,
of ecstasy, maybe.
ecstasy,
Okay,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yeah. So how, what I wanted to basically ask you was that if you hear the word exhilarating, which is extreme happiness, if you remember, you know, if you can think of times when you felt it was like, oh my God, this is just too much. Wow. Like, you know, I can visualize, say, an amusement park and I am sitting on a roller coaster. You know, things like this, like what does, or if we can share, like when have we felt like really happy? Any moment that's
Um,
coming to us.
for me, I don't know. For me, when I walked, like I saw an active volcano, that was like, oh my God, I
Yeah,
witnessed something
yeah,
bigger than me.
yeah. Anybody else? Just anything that's coming to us, the first thing.
I
Yeah,
should say my
probably.
child.
No, there's no should. Yeah. Yes, yes, Sham.
Well, probably a couple of days back when I wet myself in the rain. I was not carrying an umbrella.
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
Or maybe
Jagga.
in my school days when I had a meeting with Ruskin Bond.
Oh, wow, that sounds great.
Oh wow, that's a big one.
Or maybe when I used to write letters to my cousins when I was a school going child. Or maybe what do you call And I have the habit of purchasing a lot many greeting cards from the Archives gallery.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed all those greeting cards and bookmarks.
Yeah. And
And
Oh
here
my
all,
is
God. I
happiness,
used
na
to do that
Shyam?
too. Yeah.
Like
Hmm?
this is subtle. This is not
And
exhilarating. Exhilarating is larger than life, right? Like
means
very
what?
extreme.
Means something like thrown into a paroxysm of joy, kind of.
Matlab something like this. Ki,
And then that was one Sudarshan Kriya when I did. Okay, so there I was in a kind of other Eden, other demi paradise kind of thing. वो एक extreme था.
yeah,
और तो मुझे
exactly.
कोई याद नहीं है.
Nee, this is perfect. So again, something big, right? Something that happened out of ordinary, like a volcano, Sudarshan Kriya. Yeah, Jagan, anything coming to you?
Ma'am, there may have been many, I just didn't observe them enough to, have it in my frontal
Okay.
memory. But
Yeah.
my most exhilarating is, at least to me, it's sort of a material thing. This was in my 10th standard. Not, this was in my 11th standard. My mom lost her her watch. It was a really beautiful watch, and she lost it, and she was upset about it. And I collected my pocket money for 3 months, and I took a bus and I got this watch from Titan. And then I was I couldn't take the bus back to my house because I wanted to run actually. So I thought I can go faster than the bus somehow. But anyway, I took a bus and I went home, and she was outside. The way I wanted to present it is, I was like, I put that watch by mother's photo, and then I said ki hope she doesn't see it. And after her cooking and all was done, I said ki Ma, can you can just go pray to mother and she will give it to you. And she did that. She found the watch there and she was really happy. So that, at least that to me was very exhilarating.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so filmy and so sweet. That is so sweet. I wish my son would ever. That is really sweet, Jagan.
Yeah. So there are always things, instances, stories, materialism most of the time for us to be happy, right? That's the point. And here it's being said that there is nothing more exhilarating than the quietude that comes of a state of desirelessness. That till now, any happiness that I have experienced is because of some fulfillments of my desire, or when I was fulfilling somebody else's desires, right? And here Adi Shankaracharya is telling us that the exhilarating, the bliss that comes from the quietness that comes from desirelessness, के मांग के जब मिला तो उसने मुझे इतनी खुशी दी, तो बट वो खुशी उस खुशी के सामने doesn't hold the torch जो मुझे जब मांगना ही मुझसे छूट गया. Nothing. I desire nothing. So that exhilaration that comes that, oh my God, I need nothing. Wow. Is, I mean, wow. So yeah, just the state of desirelessness.
That is deep, man.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have more things. I mean, beauty. That I don't know. There's so much there, but
Uh,
maybe we can end. Yeah.
Ma'am, one exhilarating experience is, I think I've shared this with you about that. It's called Kumaradhara. It's in Tirumala. I think I told you about this when I went with my father inside those inside, and right where the yeah, and right where the valley started, we had to climb down the valley. And वो जो नजारा था ना मैम, जैसे वनवास में जब राम गए थे, जैसे होता है ना, इतने सारे पेड़, मतलब you will not find anything man-made there. Everything was nature, and the water was crystal clear. You can see all the colored pebbles underneath. and like beneath, and that was a very exhilarating experience. Like I thought कि कल मतलब ये समर हॉलीडेज खत्म नहीं होते तो मैं इधर ही रह जाता. मतलब like वहां पे सब है, मतलब सब है, मतलब सब कुछ है. I don't know how to exactly put it, but uh, there was everything there. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
everything there. So,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Jagan.
So can I just share one thing? So I feel like for me, that kind of experience, it's never been I feel like it's through nature or something that you haven't, it's not things, and it has been like, okay, forcing myself. Like I did a half marathon last weekend. So that was, I could have never ever imagined in my life that I can do it. So I feel like it has been when I did that, I was grateful I can move my body. Like I finished it, I wasn't last. Or when I go on hikes and you have this peace and you see this nature and it's like, you know, there is so much. So I just wanted to add, like for me, it has always been like nature or pushing myself to do something, but not like not things. So it's yeah. So I think those are the moments, right, when it's like, oh my God, today is a great day to be alive, and I'm grateful I can do that, and I'm grateful for this, body and being able to do these things. That's all.
Yes. It's said that when we are desiring, the thing that gives us happiness is not the fulfillment that we have got what we wanted, but that brief point of time when one is not desiring anything. That pause in that want. कि ये चाहिए, ये चाहिए.
Oh.
So that also has been reflected on quite a lot.
Oh yeah, because you're getting what you desire. That's why you have that brief moment where it's
Yes.
like, oh, that's interesting.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll have to thank you, Tarun. That's
Yeah. Yeah, since Chetna loves Rumi, I also had pulled a Rumi quote, so we can maybe end with that. So here it says that one of the marvels of the world is the sight of a soul sitting in a prison with the key in its hand. So, yeah. So we'll end here. Thank you so much for joining in. And I see the confusion on Jagan's face. Jagan, you want to?
no, one of the marvels of the world is a soul sitting in a prison with its key in its hand.
Yeah.
So, is that how? So the answer is within. It's just not
हाँ
trying
मतलब
to
क्या
unlock.
आप फ्री हो, आपको लगता है कि आप फ्री हो, कि there are a lot of responsibilities, duties, desires that you feel imprisoned by, with, right?
Yeah.
But वो मेरी ही prison है ना, self-created prison है. So Rumi is saying that one of the marvels of the world that he can see, the one who is sidestepped can see the one who's playing the game, that how one can step out any time. It's just my own beliefs, my thoughts, my own conceived responsibilities, duties, my own desires that is keeping me in the loop, in the prison, inside the prison. So the key is with me. The day I open and decide to walk out, I'm free. But because in the name of righteousness, ethics, morality, sacredness, responsibility, I keep sitting in the prison and blaming that, oh, I'm in prison, I'm in prison, I'm in prison. So that's the cherry on the top. So just nothing active there, but something again to, keep in our minds that मैं ही तो पकड़ रहा हूँ, मैं ही तो मान रहा हूँ, मैं ही तो मांग रहा हूँ. So it just a gentle knock that comes when we hear these words, even if they mean nothing to us right now. but having it inside of us, there is this knock that's coming, keeps coming, that shows us a little more than we see in the absence of these words.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just taking a last minute. Yeah, so thank you for this short, intimate gathering, sharing. It's always expanding and it takes us towards a little bit of more light and lightness. So aspiring and praying for more and more lightness for everyone, for all beings. May all of us are able to see the presence we are imprisoning ourselves in, and slowly and steadily find the courage, the light, the clarity, the strength to use the keys that are in our hands. Thank you.
Thank you.